Alright, in the bike, no ask come hello. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good night. It depends your time and your location. You're joining us today. What a wonderful day. One day, find out what today is the code of water. Hey, okay, no, the code today, you find out we have water, pro mass. Going on water. The enemies of Biafra is shaking. Everybody, you know, yeah, the Mazi PM by the whole bit of film, Fana Bali. Fana Mali ko kwa mmiri malo. Ko ke mmiri malo. So obere film ko na agba ilu unu na ma pele. One no dugwa people guys na Finland. You need to listen to this. Finland government in the they are really in support of what Odogu is doing. Akunu moyane kumakia. The Biafran Prime Minister in exile, Mazi Simon Ekpa. Water ko na apia the zoo is collapsing. It's better you join now. Now is the time. Don't leave it tomorrow. You get. Alright, Kaboponi also over to you, sir.
Goes on, not on this earlier stage. If maybe once we get Biafra, time goes on. Is the scheme of maybe allocating, maybe paying salary to the citizens, the indigenous people of Biafra, is it going to be included, or anybody can work? Maybe let me say, for instance, here in UAE, the citizens are being paid monthly, and maybe some other parts of the world as well. Is that going to still apply in Biafra when Biafra comes?
When Biafra come, the plan of the government of Biafra and the plan of many of us that are fighting for Biafra is that we are going to have what we call social welfare and social benefit for those who are not employed. Of course, we don't expect that people will not be employed, but we are going to have social benefit for the citizens of Biafra, which means if you are not employed, the state will support you. The state will support you in the housing. The state will also support you some kind of grant or stipend to make you have a food, some foods to eat with you and your family. So yes, we are going to do that. But that is not going to come immediately. There is a lot of work that needed to be done before that can be implemented. And this work is what we call the credit and database system. The credit and database system means that every Biafran citizen data will be taken. Fingerprinting will be taken, and we are going to have a digitized database and a live database that when somebody is, when you give birth in a hospital, in a minute, the number of the citizen of Biafra will be digitally added, and you are going to see it live somewhere in the capital of Biafra. So it is something we are planning, that this will now give us the opportunity to know who is employed and who is not employed. Not unlike what you have in Nigeria today or other African countries. There is no database system. So we are going to have, first of all, database system to know who are Biafrans, who are not Biafrans, the real Biafrans, and we are going to have a real document and database system for Biafra people, which will include the credit system, because the credit system is very important. So we are building this thing from the scratch. And the underground railway you saw yesterday is not actually what replicates the UAE. Rather, what we are going to have is the confederating state. It's going to be like a confederation, just like the UAE, but it is not because of the underground train. So what we're going to have is that every nationality council, we have three different nationality council. We have the coastal nationality council, we have the Aqua Cross nationality council, and then we have the Igbo nationality council. In this nationality councils, we have 32 states. In this 32 states, each state is going to have 15 local government and 5 districts. Each state will have 15 local government and 5 districts. And what we are trying to do is that each state is going to be an autonomy, just like in the United States. So it is more of not a federalism system of government, because that is what Nigeria copied and they failed. So we're not going to have something like that. We're going to have more of a confederated state, where each state will be very autonomy, either regionally, either nationality council autonomy, or the state autonomy. that everybody will develop at their own pace and build their own state or build their own nationality council and then contribute to the center. That's exactly what we are trying to do, so that nobody will feel marginalized and nobody will be cheated. The reason why each state is going to have 15 local government is that you are going to have equal representation. No, but not like what you have in Nigeria now, because we are learning to solve the problem that we had from Nigeria. We are learning not to jump from fry pan to fire. We are learning to do things differently. So when you hear them say, oh, this Biafra you are fighting, is that how you want to fight Biafra? If this is the kind of Biafra you want, please let us remain in Nigeria. It's a lie. In a freedom fighting, every mechanism, have to be adopted. Just if you feel that that mechanism will give you freedom, you adopt it. It's just it's just like when you see people fighting war in Ukraine and killing people and killing each other in Ukraine. For example, Russia killing them, and then you say, oh, is this how you want to save Ukraine? You are killing people, you are killing Russia, or Russia killing you? Is that what you want to do? I don't want to be part of this country. Or the people in Russia will say, oh, is that how you want to bring Ukraine people to join Russia? If that is what you do, you believe that Ukraine is Russia, why are you killing them? If that is the reason, I don't want to be part of Russia again. That's exactly the mentality of people, which doesn't make sense. So when you are fighting for your freedom, you can make mistake, it is part of it. You can do wrong, it is part of it. But once that you know that the mistake you are making is because you are desperate to get your people out of the situation they are, and in that process you can make a mistake. So when you make mistakes, some people will say, oh, yeah, he has made a mistake. Is that the kind of country you want to lead us to? That is absolutely rubbish. So we are going to fight with everything we have and do whatever we believe can bring us out of Nigeria. And when we get our Biafra, we are going to start implementing this particular thing I'm explaining to you now to make sure that our people have the best life available. Thank you.
Mazi, I will say God bless you and God will be with you. Nothing shall harm you. Amen. Anybody that plan evil against you, the person and the family will carry it. Okay. I'm really overwhelmed. I'm really happy. Like you were saying in your brother, I think it's last said that once we are entering 2023, that we begin to see the green light of Biafra. I think it's all over the place now. Everybody can attest to it. And keep on the good work you are doing. And with you, that is the reason why people are still hearing the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If not so, I think the name would have been dead by now. And I believe that our leader will be released soon to join us, to join you and get us Biafra. God bless you, sir.
Yeah, I bless you too. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Emeka, you are welcome back. Can you talk now?
Oh yes, I can talk now, sir.
Okay, good afternoon. What was the problem?
Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you loud and clear. So what was the problem?
Yeah, the problem was actually my audio. It wasn't properly configured, but I fixed it.
Okay, great. All right.
I'm so happy to hear from you. I'm so happy to hear from you today. I really want to commend you for the good work you're doing.
Thank you.
God will continually bless you and strengthen you and keep you from the eyes of all the enemies of Biafra in Jesus' name.
Amen.
And now, my concern is the issue of Finland joining NATO and how, with respect to their support for you or for the free nation, in my own, or if I would say my own impression about NATO is the fact that they are actually against free nation. They are actually, anywhere they enter, they leave that place in ruins. They leave that place totally messed up. We all know the advent of US. We all know anywhere they entered Libya, how they left, in fact, they leave every place they enter in ruins. So my question is, now that Finland has joined NATO, how are we so sure that, they will give you the backings that you need, or they will propel you or support you sincerely in achieving this desire, sir? Please.
Well, thank you very much for that question. First of all, I want you to understand that Finland is a country of law. It's a country that respects their own law. So the reason why you see me doing what I'm doing is because, you know, I'm being protected by the law of Finland, and I'm not committing any crime what I'm doing. So
Yes.
it is this particular law is also found in different international instruments. I'm not here to say that you know, because of NATO, Finland will not protect, the Finland law will not protect me as a citizen. The law is protecting me or whatever NATO has. I want you people to understand that NATO is NATO. Biafra freedom is Biafra freedom. NATO is not in Africa, right? Have you seen
Yes.
any country in Africa joining NATO?
Not really.
So why are you people so concerned about NATO when NATO is not in Africa?
You know, the thing is, most of the countries in Africa, they have alliances.
It does not matter, and that is
Okay.
exactly what many of you do not know. It's just like during the time of the apartheid in South Africa. During the time of the apartheid in South Africa, while the Mandela's and his group was fighting, he was in prison. They made alliances with different nations that are enemy of America, which is the NATO you see today. They made alliances with Gaddafi, which you just mentioned that what America did in Libya. Gaddafi was an alliance to Mandela. They made alliance with Castro of Cuba. They made alliance with Arafat, with Arafat, who is also fighting against Israel in those days, and they are still fighting. So these three powerful nations, somehow are powerful nation then, they were powerful, Cuba, Libya, and the Arafat of the Palestine. They were all in alliance with Mandela's group, financially funding them, even supplying arms to the South Africans for the apartheid, against the wish of America and the West. Now, Mandela was invited because of these alliances to this nation which America see as those who abuse human rights. And they want these powerful leaders dead or out of the office by all means. So as far back as during the time of the apartheid in South Africa, Gaddafi has been declared as enemy of America. And you know how many years ago? And how many years did later on that he was killed by the Obama's administration? So when Mandela was invited to the United States, because the only reason why America went into action to intervene in the apartheid regime was because the Mandela was beginning to make alliances with the enemy of America and the enemy of the West. Arafat, Cuba, Castro, and Libya, Gaddafi. When they invited Mandela, they asked Mandela, what do you have to say about the people that you are now in alliance with? These three men has been accused of a grave violation of human rights. And Mandela responded to them. The person that was asking this question was there in the US where Mandela was invited. And remember that the time that Mandela went into alliance with these countries, the Jewish organization, one of the biggest Jewish organizations sponsoring Mandela and and his group against apartheid, was a Jewish organization. And they were pumping money, real money, into supporting Mandela. Now, when they asked Mandela, why are you in alliance with the enemies of the West, an enemy of America. And Mandela responded in front of thousands of crowds of people in America and said, your problem is that you want your enemy to be my enemy.
Yeah.
So Mandela addressed them that your enemy can never be my enemy. If you regard Castro as a person that have abused human rights and all that, we do not regard him as such, because we are fighting also to free ourselves from the oppressors. And if you regard Arafat as somebody who have abused human rights, it is not in our own eyes. We see things differently. And Arafat have stretched the hand of friendship and help to us, which you did not do. So am I going to say no to Arafat because you are fighting him? And then Gaddafi. Gaddafi, according to Mandela, Gaddafi did not allow the South Africa ANC or so to register the organization in Libya in the first place. But at the end of the day, Gaddafi allowed them to register the organization, and they have the branch in Libya. And later on, Gaddafi started funding and supporting them. So Mandela asked them, do you expect me to start fighting Mandela because I want to please you, who have not shown any interest whatsoever while I was sitting in the prison? Is it you that I have to come and listen to, or those who have stretched the hand of fellowship and brotherhood to me? So that's exactly what is happening here. So we are not going to be enemy of our friends just because our friend is making enemy to them. We are going to embrace anybody that has anything to offer, irrespective of who else is God. We are not interested. It is our interest. Those joining NATO, they are joining NATO for their own interest. And whoever we are going to join, we are joining the person for our own interest. And by the time, if that time comes, that we have to go that route, we are going to explain why we take such decision. But we are not yet there. Okay, but whatever decision we are going to make, we are going to explain to whoever that will be aggrieved about such decision, why we are making such decision at that particular point in time. But for now, we are maintaining our stand that all we want is freedom, and we are going to align with anybody that comes to support us. As simple as that. So if you come first, if you know that we are fighting a genuine cause, you come and support us. And don't wait when somebody else comes to support us, which you don't like, and then you come and say, why are you aligning with that person? I'm going to accept any offer from anybody. Believe me, and I believe that Biafra people are ready to follow me to do that. So when that time comes, even if it is the person that you hate, even if it is North Korea that offered to put pressure to whoever that is involved and let Biafra go, we are going to make friends with them. Because I know North Korea is the most hated country in the world. And this is about the interest of my people. So I'm not fighting for interest of anybody. Those who hate North Korea are hating North Korea for their own interest. It is not for my interest, right? It is not for interest of my people. So if North Korea come today for my interest, I'm going to accept them and protect the interest of my people. I guess whoever that is not happy with it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you, sir. You really broke it down for me. And in fact, if you notice, I was taking notes, as you were talking. So I really appreciate the lecture.
And you know that I know where you are going. And I wanted to go side by side and make a reference with a different country. I know where you are going, but I believe this have actually addressed the concern that we are ready to embrace anybody that comes our way.
Yes. And another thing, sir, I would just want to point this out. While we are working towards the freedom of our people, we always reference the UN all these years. We will always tag international community, this and that, but they've never come to our aid. They've never said anything to aid the plight of Biafrans. Okay, they've never done anything. So even while you are talking about the need for a referendum, seriously, if I'm to tell you personally, I don't see that coming. Nobody will give you a referendum. Nobody will give it to you. on a platter of gold. I don't see it. With the body language, even with the way our leader is being kept right now, I don't see the international community coming up with a projection for a referendum. So I think the other option, I think you might be considering the other option seriously if something tangible will have to come out. And I know you understand the option that I'm talking about.
I am going to tell you the option without missing word. We've made up our mind to get our freedom. We are going to get our freedom either by referendum or declaration. And you know what declaration means. What declaration means is that once we declare our nation, we defend and fight and defend our land. So we are not hoping on the UN. What we are doing is to make sure we fulfill every formality. Everything that we need to do, call the attention of those people that feel that they have, what it takes to make peace, globally. The reason for the coming of UN is to make peace. Where there is crisis, they have to make peace there. So, but they are not living up to the expectation, and everybody knows that. As we are talking today, the United Nations, from what happened during the Ramadan time, there has been some kind of issue arising from the president participating or being part of the Ramadan celebration, which prompted some kind of comment that is very, very worrisome from the United Nations. That his involvement in Ramadan has made him the face of Islam. That is about the President of the United Nations, the Secretary General, sorry, of the United Nations. Yeah. So of course that raises concern to people who understand what is going on. That for him to have said that, his being part or participating in the Ramadan has made him the face of Islam is kind of taking side with the Muslim world.
Yes.
Okay. And a lot of people have accused him of that, or accused the Arab world of buying off the United Nations with money. So we are aware of all those things. But what I'm telling Biafrans today is that we are not going to. Why we are writing to United Nations is not because we are waiting for them to come and give us freedom. Okay? We know what to do, and like we said, it is going to be either by referendum or declaration. And declaration will come. We have got that right before. So what we are doing now is to create awareness to the highest level as much as possible before we go into the declaration of Biafra, which is going to come, if that is what we are going to do. So we are going to turn all these stones to make sure that at the end of the day we are going to find some kind of diamond. You never know where the diamond will be found. So anybody thinking that we are going to fold our hand and wait for United Nations, as corrupt as they are today, to give us referendum, just come and say give a referendum. Nigeria have not even respected their arbitrary committee on detention.
Exactly.
So they're not regarded. That is to show you that they are weak. They are weak. So all the thing we need now is every equipment to defend our land whenever the time, whenever the duty calls. That's all. And we are doing that, secretly, reaching out to nations that believe that they have something to offer to us, and we are reaching out to them on daily basis.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate the time, sir. My Prime Minister.
Thank you very much.
I remain loyal, sir.
Water promise. Kenada nife. Kwena fozo. Bozai for Odogu. Bozai. The Odogu Prime Minister, my Simon, by Nekenege. Alright, I say Gidalo na Olo Machuku Jigalo na Biafra land. Then I say Kamechuko Kabiama. Chokwagi Mabuchitegi. And then Zunogi Ise. Alright, once again, stay tuned at Eastern News 24, where we give to you the latest news on what is happening in Biafra land. One the bike, Messiano.